there's so many things, like when Peter's told to kill and eat, and I know you say that's an analogy.
Hang on. I don't say that's an analogy. I don't say that that's an analogy. Peter does. Peter says it's an analogy.
He doesn't even use the word analogy, but he says, God has shown me.
Right.
And so we got to trust Peter's interpretation of his own dream.
Right. Acts 10:28, right? He says, and he said to them, you yourselves know how unlawful it is for a Jew to associate with or to visit anyone of other nations. But God has shown me.
That's extra biblical, by the way. That is a man-made tradition.
Right. But God has shown me, and here's the interpretation of his own vision, that I should not call any person common or unclean. So it's not about, he doesn't say, God has shown me that we can eat whatever we want. What he says is, God has shown me that we should not call any person common or unclean. Let's keep going.
What does he mean by that? He says, God has shown me I had a false Torah idea.
Right.
And I was living by it in fear.
Yep.
And God has shown me, he's kicked me in the rear.
Yep.
That I needed this correction. And now I've actually am more attuned to God's Torah than I was before.
As Rob and I were listening to this, because we listened to this together before we came on air. As we were listening to this, because she says nowhere in the Bible does God use something sinful as an analogy or something that we'll listen to it here in just a second. Rob and I both said the exact same passage at the exact same time.
Accepting the Gentiles. However, I don't know that there's anywhere else in the Bible where God uses a sinful act as an analogy. And then we see in other...
Ezekiel 4. Let's go there. Let's go to Ezekiel 4. So Ezekiel 4, 10 through 15. And I have it pulled up here somewhere. But it's probably not going to matter. Let's just go. Ezekiel, sorry. I thought I had it pulled up. 10, what in the world? 10 through 14. Your food, God is now talking to Ezekiel in this passage, right? And by the way, there are two places in the entire Bible where God tells somebody to do something and they say no. And both of those things have to do with unclean food. One is in Ezekiel 4, the other is in Acts 10. And guess what? In both cases, the person never ends up eating the food. So if you go and you read...
it has a prophetic... both are prophetic purposes to communicate a problem with Israel and
right.
et cetera.
Yeah. And in Acts 10, one of the things that we don't see, in fact, Peter says no to God 3 times, and never does God make him do it. We never see Peter saying, all right, fine, here, give me the food, I'm going to eat it. No, he continues to resist. And the same thing happens in Ezekiel 4:10. Here we go. Your food, which you eat, shall be 20 shekels a day by weight. You shall eat it from time to time. The water you drink shall be the 6th part of a hin by measure. You shall drink it from time to time. You shall eat it as a barley cake, having baked it in their sight over human dung. Then the Lord said, thus will the sons of Israel eat their bread unclean among the nations where I will banish them. So what is the point of him eating food in front of Israel that is cooked over human excrement, so that they will realize that their bread will be unclean because they'll eat it among the nations? And verse 14, but I said, Lord God, behold, I have never been defiled, for from my youth... What does this make you think of? I mean, this is clearly, we're seeing the same thing in Acts 10. For from my youth until now, I have never eaten what died of itself or what was torn by beasts, nor has any unclean meat ever entered my mouth. Now, you'd think that God would say, hey, what did I say? Go do what I just told you to do. God doesn't say that. Then he said
in a way,
to me,
you can understand that Peter's response, he must be thinking Ezekiel. Don't you think?
Exactly.
That's my view.
Absolutely.
He's like, I see where we're going here.
Then he said to me, see, I will give you cow's dung in place of human dung, over which you will prepare your bread. So I am going to push once again against Brittany's idea that there is nowhere that such a sign is given. It's given directly in Ezekiel. I think that Peter is thinking of this as he's having this vision. He says no to God 3 times. God never makes him eat it. We never see Peter eating it. And in the end, what does Peter say? Peter says, God has shown me that no person is unclean. Okay, let's keep going.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.